everyone, and welcome back. I didn't have a soda this week to the Friends You Can Keep podcast. I mean, I did, but it's out of a 2-liter.
You should have just done like a bloop. Have a pre-recorded one.
You would think at this point I would just do that, but who knows? Couple things to get to this week. And I, of course, wrote down, because why not? First thing I thought to discuss... Well, I guess we should start with this, because I wrote it down for last week and forgot about it till we got done recording. And there's not really anything special in this. I just wanted to talk about it. So I watched... Well, I shouldn't say I watched. I put on, for the boys, The Wizard of Oz. They did not care. Not one little bit. I mean, they did. So when it turned to... Did not give a shit about sepia tone Wizard of Oz. The second she opens that door and it was color, oh my god, they all turned to the TV. And it's very perplexed because there's a box in his chair.
But he's pissed about it.
He is.
He's going to pee on it.
But I'm watching the movie, and it came out in, what, 30s?
No, it came out right after World War II.
No, it came out during World War II.
Right as...
Because remember, 3 days before or 3 days after is when Germany invaded Poland?
Yeah,
so, the beginning of World War II.
42? Maybe?
1939.
Oh, whoops, a little early.
I knew I was right. So it came out in 1939. I'm watching it, though, and some things are just funny to me. Like, number one, you don't like that movie, you don't like Willy Wonka, you don't... Wonka is okay, and you don't care for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which no one should like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. If you
I had no problem.
Shame on you.
With the Johnny Depp one.
Why?
Because I didn't like it, but because I thought it was just a crappy movie. But like the Oompa Loompa is just like a CGI same guy repeated, like a full size man CGI'd small and then
anyways, Kelly very controversially has a fear of little people.
It's not the little people in The Wizard of Oz, though. It's the flying monkeys.
Okay. Anyways, that's a lot to unpack for a different episode. Jesus. But I'm watching it, and I could not tell you the last time I watched The Wizard of Oz. What I thought would pique Tony's interest at one point, I told him, I'm like, Phineas and Ferb did a whole episode that was just this.
They did?
Yeah. Because it's Candace on the road, and they keep going like, oh, well, here's this that's faster, and it's more fun, and she's blowing them off because she's trying to bust them. But Phineas and Ferb keep making, like, better roads to get to Oz. But anyways. I noticed, and we did talk about this, that I noticed that an overwhelming majority of the Munchkins are children.
Let's see if that's actually true.
I mean, if it's not, I think that's a lying fact.
They had a big problem with them getting drunk. Like, they were always, like, getting drunk and goofing off.
Yeah, but that wasn't all of them. It didn't say, like, oh, the entirety of the little person cast of The Wizard of Oz. Because they had that problem.
124 dwarves.
Yeah, and you know how many people were in that scene?
And 115 little people and 9 children.
Bullshit, 9 children. What's that from? Wikipedia?
No, there's a whole bunch of different ones. That one's Wikipedia, but then a bunch of these are just like the weird Google answers.
Go back and watch that movie. I defy you to not count more than 9 children.
The children could still be dwarf. Like, they could be dwarf children.
I'm not saying they're not.
Because this one's
But my point is...
Or are they made up to look like kids? I don't know.
No, I think there's kids... No, it's kids made to look like adults. I'm telling you, one of them has a beard that you very clearly see, like, the strings that go behind his ears to hold the beard on his face. And I'm like, that's a child. That is a literal child. Get.
The median age was 32, and the youngest was 11, and the oldest was 69.
Nice.
So they're just.
But my point.
Variety.
But my point is,
Maybe the ones towards the front were more younger. Like they had more of like
I don't
the
know.
kids.
They're talking to
There's
the mayor.
There's one scene.
They're talking to the mayor, and I think the mayor was an adult, and every other person around him is a child. Because they look like teenagers.
When they start saying that we represent the Lollipop Guild, a lot of the ones in the forefront do look.
2 of the 3 Lollipop Guild members are kids.
Well, or like look like children.
No, they're definitely children.
They could be. Well,
no, they're definitely children.
They're 11 and up, and most
which
of them
is a child.
Yes, but most of them it said were about 32. But there was 134 of them.
I don't know. Then they all were in the background, and they put all the kids in the front because all the ones I saw, I'm like, that's a kid, that's a kid, that's a kid.
I don't know what they were supposed to look like.
And you could clearly, what's just funny to me is watching those movies, you can clearly see bald caps. I forgot. I mean, I knew it was the big joke. I forgot how gay the Tin Man was. I don't know if the actor was gay, I'm guessing. Because I don't know if the character in the books was like, oh, there's the gay Tin Man.
Well, but they wouldn't have had, like, it's just like, he was more flamboyant. Because, like, that...
In the book or in the movie?
In the movie. I mean, in the book, it could have just been, like, a flamboyant man.
So I should...
But, like, in 1939...
So who played the Tin Man?
Well, 2 different guys, because the first guy
it's who's in the movie. The first guy's not in the movie. Wizard of Oz.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was like half of it was the original guy and then half
of it was the new guy? Could you imagine?
Because they didn't want to recast. Or they didn't want to reshoot.
Half of it's the original guy and then he hung himself in the background.
No, he didn't, and that's not true.
The Tin Man, Jack Haley. Were you gay?
It might be hard to...
I don't know why I'm looking on his IMDb like it's gonna tell me.
It could say, like, nowadays it would say spouse and you'd be able to figure it out, but... I mean, I never read the book, so I don't know what descriptors were used.
Jack Haley was not gay.
He
was married to Florence Haley and had a son named Jack Haley Jr.
Does that mean he wasn't gay?
That's the AI overview.
Does that mean he wasn't gay? No. Just means he was married to a woman.
Oh my god. I don't know what this is. TheDataLounge.com. Not a clue. Was Jack Haley bi? And then the first sentence of this question is, he seems so gay in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh my gosh.
The only movie I have ever seen him in. But he was married and had 2 kids, so at most he was bi.
What? So why does one performance, like...
I don't know. And
I have a feeling,
I don't care. If he was, he was. If he wasn't, he wasn't.
The book must have described him.
If the Tin Man was, he was. I don't care. But I watched that movie and I'm like, whoo, I forgot. And like, the opening dance number, I'm like, whoo, the Tin Man was gay.
Well, and they make the Cowardly Lion, like, really slow. So I bet you that those, like...
Not really.
Yeah. Well, his, like, speech is really slow.
Because he's a coward.
Yeah, but, like, you could be a coward with that. Like, they make him seem dumb.
No, he's not dumb. He's, like... Are you talking about, like, the stutter and stuff?
Yeah, like, they just give him so many over-the-top characteristics where it's like, I don't think he had to go
Well, he's leaning... Far. I mean, it's all very vaudeville.
Well,
it's all very vaudeville
that could also
comedy.
be the actor. Yeah.
But
I don't know. Like, does the book really describe him that he... Like, they lean into...
But I like you can see obvious bald caps on people, which is very funny to me. There's the most glaring one that I remember vividly is the hilarity to me when they get to Oz, which I forgot they get to Oz, then have to leave to go kill the witch, and then go back. I
have seen the movie.
For some reason, my memory was they take their trip. At some point, they encounter the witch and kill her, and then the end of the movie, they get to Oz, and then she goes back to Kansas. They get to Oz.
You were there.
They go to the wizard, and the wizard's like, "For me to do this for you, you got to bring me that witch's broomstick." And they're like, "But we'll have to kill her to do that." And he's like, "I don't give a shit what you do, just bring me the broom." And they leave, kill her, and come back with the broom, and then...
I'm melting.
What a world. when she had to go on Mr. Rogers.
Why?
You haven't heard that story?
Because she was so scary and kids were terrified of her?
Kids were terrified of her in real life as the Wicked Witch.
Oh.
So she had to go on Mr. Rogers, and they did a whole episode about, like, this is who she is as a person.
Right.
She played a character. She is this very nice old woman. She is my friend.
We even sent Mr. Rogers to fix it,
of course.
you know?
When she didn't want to do it, she was very nervous about doing it.
Because she thought it would, like, hurt his show?
Well, I think she thought it would hurt his show. She thought it wasn't, like, I don't know. But she was nervous about doing it.
More scared than... You're right. Kids trusted Mr. Rogers with, like, literally everything.
Yeah, but kids were terrified of her.
Well, I was afraid of her minions.
But the most glaring... I mean, the other hilarity is, like, when she tells the monkeys to leave, and, like, one jumps out the window, and the rest of them are, like... They're already flying, but it's clearly just, like, this thing in the back.
Yeah.
And one monkey jumps out the window. I think two. I think that one, she's talking to the one and it goes, and, like, another one comes up and goes out. But, like, the rest of it is, like, outside the window already.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get to Oz, and they finally let him in. And when they say, like... What the fuck does she say to let him in the door? I don't remember. Like, Glinda sent them? I forget what she says. And the guy's like, well, that's a horse of a different color. And he opens the door. And there's a guy on I think the first color is purple. It's a purple horse. And she says something about it being a purple horse. And he's like, oh, well, this is the horse of a different color you've heard so much about. But then as he's riding around... It's a purple horse, then it's like a red horse, and then a yellow horse.
Really showing off their Technicolor.
Well, then, because, like, it would be that horse, and they'd cut to whatever, and then they come back, and it's a different color, and they come back, and it's a different color. And I sat there and watched that, and I'm like, this movie came out in 1939. You know goddamn well. That was just a horse they painted purple.
Probably. Well, and yellow.
And yellow and red. It was 3 different horses.
And those horses died.
Shellacked paint on. Oh, there was definitely more than 3.
There had to have been, because they died mid-shoot.
And I was just watching that like, man, going back and watching old movies is wild sometimes just to know that
and then the snow.
the asbestos, well, the poppy, the snow, the straw in the Tin Man, or in the Scarecrow. It's all asbestos.
So they all had mesothelioma?
Maybe.
Yeah. So like nowadays we know like asbestos is...
she was drunk. So.
Did she die of an overdose?
I believe so. I want to see that movie with Renee Zellweger.
Yeah.
The only time I think I've ever said that sentence, and you will ever hear me say that sentence.
But, like, nowadays we know, like, the only way asbestos can hurt you is if you break it.
Yes.
And then here they are, just like, whee! Because, like, it's... If you have asbestos in your house, as long as you don't disturb it, it's fine.
Now we know that if you or someone you love suffers from mesothelioma...
Call Stark and Stark.
Please call.
I don't think Stark and Stark.
You're entitled to money from this class.
You may be
entitled to money.
Compensation.
Morgan and Morgan.
They don't
for
do
the
that.
People.
They don't do that. You know what else they don't do? Anything.
You know what we are? Lawyers. That's my favorite word to hear, like, in the commercials.
But you need a southern.
He's from, like, Minnesota. No, Missouri?
Missouri.
That's not the South.
Or you need, like...
My favorite is whatever divorce lawyers advertise on WMMR. Because that's first of all, the commercials are hysterical to me because it's all about like
it's a man's attorney. Yeah, protecting men's rights. Yes, basically.
And it's like the guy is giving tips on like here's what you do, and it's like don't post on social media, don't do this, don't do that.
Which should be like.
And one of them I think was like. I mean, obviously he didn't say this, but it was something along the lines of like. You've worked hard for your money and everything you've earned, and she's going to try and say that she's entitled to half of it, and that's bullshit. Like, however he words it, that's essentially what it is. But it always ended the exact same way. What the fuck was it? Something.
In Missouri and Illinois.
But I'm not licensed in your state.
Then I'm not licensed. Because he was licensed in Missouri. And
yeah, but he didn't say that first. It was something else. Oh, yeah. Unless you live in Missouri or Illinois, I'm not licensed in your state. But don't worry, our attorneys in your state are.
Yeah, we have attorneys in your state that are. So a lot of...
It's like, first of all, I feel like that should be implied. If you have an attorney in my state that you're suggesting me to, I feel like it's implied. I know you have to say it for legal reasons on the radio, but it's just hilarious to me.
Well, I think the notion is like...
The implication should be that they are
it's so that you don't get the impression that when you call, it will be him.
No, but my point is...
Which, you know who doesn't do that?
When you do this...
John Morgan.
When you do this sentence of like...
Yeah, we have attorneys
We have attorneys in your state. Like, I get for legal reasons you have to put, we have attorneys in your state that are. Mm-hmm. But, like, I feel like the implication is they are licensed. Mm-hmm. No, he says that they have a team of lawyers ready to help you. It's not going to be him. He does not imply that it's going to be him. He's too busy sponsoring the 76ers.
He doesn't do anything.
Proud partner of the Philadelphia 76ers. You know who supports them moving that stadium? John Morgan.
You know who doesn't? Everyone else. So if you slip and fall, don't call
Because he does that bullshit where he puts up billboards where he spells his name Jawn.
Which is cultural appropriation for the city of Philadelphia. Leave us alone. You don't live here. You're from the Midwest. And we know you're from the Midwest. You don't even know what a John is. So right off.
Do you think he grew up in the Midwest? Or do you
yes.
think, like in Missouri? Or do you think he moved there at some point in his life?
No, I think he always did.
Because how is that guy from Missouri, but also Tim Walz is from Missouri?
Well, I don't know that... I mean, we could assume. But like, we don't know that John Morgan is a bad guy.
No, I mean, he's definitely an asshole, but...
Sure. Because look at what he does. But, like... And you don't...
And look at his billboards.
Yeah.
The John Morgan one. I heard what the other one was on the... Down there in Philly.
Did he have a weird one with, like, Rocky?
No. Oh, maybe he did. I know he had the one in Bechtelsville where it was his face... over a Phillies baseball player.
Oh, okay. I knew it was like he was like his face superimposed, which is weird.
I'm like, just stop this. Just be the guy in Philly with the cowboy hat.
Stark and Stark. No, Bender and Bender.
Bender and Bender. What's hysterical to me is
anymore.
Those commercials would start.
I think they did class action lawsuits.
What would be so funny to me in those commercials, I loved them. I laughed so hard every time they came on TV. Because he would start the commercial, it's like a super close-up of his face. Like, what you're seeing is my face, and then maybe this much of the screen, and then, like, maybe to here. Like, that's it. And there's, like, I think... So it's just him. I forget what's in the background. He's talking. Just a normal, average-looking white dude. Like, a little less than average-looking white dude. Just talking. About...
They're, like, older.
About whatever lawyer bullshit he's talking about.
Personal
Then
injury.
it cuts to their logo with the Philadelphia skyline. Then it would cut back to him, and he has a cowboy hat on. Where did the cowboy hat come from?
Not like
Why did you not have it on the first
he probably
shot?
Did. They tried to cut it out, and then he's like, no.
No, because you can see his
Get
head.
a wide. Get a wide shot.
You can see the top of his head.
One wide shot so you can see my killer hat. But it's not like a Western cowboy hat.
It's a like tan...
Like down under.
No, it's definitely a cowboy hat, like a Western cowboy hat. But it's like a tan. Yes.
In my mind, it's more like an Australian outback.
No, I think it's like a tan, almost like what you would see like Boss Hogg wear in Dukes of Hazzard, but tan.
Oh, see, I didn't think it was that like.
Yeah, like a true
Western,
10. No, it's like a true 10-gallon hat.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And I'm like, why? It's just so funny to me that it cuts to their logo. And
it was tan. Tan hat.
It cuts back, and he's got this.
Well, because you have to have an edge.
But why wasn't it in the first shot? Like
it was for like an element of surprise.
It screams, and I think he's wearing the same suit. I would hope he was. I wish he wasn't, though, because then that would be hilarious to me, because then it's very obvious, like, oh, you filmed this on 2 different days, and you wore 2 completely different outfits, and you were like, I'm not changing, and I'm not taking the hat off, because my hair looks like shit.
Then, like, do you think when he met the clients, he wore the hat?
That, or I also like to believe that, like, he didn't have it on, they filmed that first take, like took a break or whatever, and then either someone else had it on or like he saw it.
Or like it's like the little boy in Big Daddy where like he was too nervous and then wore the hat to make him feel better.
Invisibility sunglasses.
Yeah. So he was just feeling a little self-conscious. Yeah. And then they put the hat on and then he's like, I can do it now.
Oh God. What is your 5-year plan? Don't die? That's incredible. I love that idea that he just wore that hat as an invisibility shield. Hold on a second. This is on me. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else in the Wizard of Oz that it sticks in my mind. The horses was the biggest thing, and I'm like, this is hysterical. Oh, I also like. I'm sure it was purposeful. The Great and Powerful Oz. When he gets in the hot air balloon to leave, and she's not in it, he's taking off, and she says something about like, wait for me, come back. I forget what she says. Now, he has told this story about how he traveled the world in a hot air balloon. And something happened with the winds or whatever, and that's how he ended up in Oz. But then when they're taking off and she's like, oh, wait for me, blah, blah, whatever, she's fucking screaming at him. He goes, I don't know how this thing works. Bye. And then just like, so I'm like, wait a minute. You just told this elaborate story how you were like a professional hot air balloon man. And then she's like, wait for me. And he's like, I don't know how this thing works. I'm out of here.
I mean, it was all a fever dream, so I guess she just...
Well, and he's also, because he's the guy she sees when she runs away from home.
Oh, the scary guy.
What? No, so the Wicked Witch comes to take her dog, because it barks at her chickens, or whatever the fuck it's doing. And then Annie M and Uncle Owen, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't know. They let her take the dog. She's riding her bike. Toto jumps out of the basket, comes back to Dorothy. She packs her shit up and starts to run away from home. Then there's like this traveling...
Oh, yeah.
fortune teller guy, and that's the wizard.
What a weird movie.
It was a very weird movie. Oh, I'm also pretty sure at one point, I think maybe the actor's name was Henry. I should look that up. Because at one point, somebody falls, or something happens. Like maybe one of the monkeys picks somebody up. I don't know. But it's either the Tin Man or the Scarecrow. And they're either like on a wire because the monkey picks them up. Something like outrageous happens that could be dangerous. And Dorothy yells out to this person. No, it's not anyone's real name. Because it's Ray, Bert, and Jack. His name was Hickory. Maybe that's what she yells. I don't know. It sounds like she yells Henry, and I'm like, who the fuck is Henry?
Does she say help me?
No, she definitely yells Henry. And I thought, like, at some point in this movie, did they establish that, like, I forget if it was the Tin Man and the Scarecrow, but I'm like, did they establish that his name is Henry?
I don't know.
But I don't think they do, because they always just call him the Scarecrow or the Tin Man.
Yeah,
or the Cowardly Lion, whichever one it was. And I thought, like, was his first character's name that? Because that's hysterical. I'm like, or was that his real name? She screamed out.
Yeah, she was, like, legit scared.
Because she was drunk and didn't know what was happening?
No, it was the filming of that movie that starts her alcohol problem.
But no, it was the studio that starts her alcohol problem.
Yeah, but wasn't it this movie? Because they made her work such long hours and they wouldn't feed her, so they just gave her uppers and downers.
Yeah, and they gave her drugs, and they gave her alcohol. Yes, I can make the joke because none of it was her fault. It was Hollywood's fault.
But I don't...
The studios killed Judy Garland.
I don't know if it was alcohol right away, though. It was, like, uppers and downers.
I don't know.
And then maybe, like, that came later. Unless maybe she maybe she drank on her own, and then they added.
Two things I
Just
saw
keep closing.
on TV. Well, no. One I saw on Facebook, but the first one I saw on TV, we were at a job. Oh, speaking of, I should throw this out there too. We're not going to do this segment regularly, but found my garbage person of the week. We were doing a job yesterday and today. We're working outside, so they're getting a pool in their backyard. Fence around the backyard. Front yard is out in like a residential area. There's no fence in the front yard, just front yard to the street. Not a lot of yard. And it's in one of those developments across from Mimi's old house.
Oh.
And we're like working outside, and Jake and I both were like, it stinks out here. And like they were putting concrete in the bottom of the pool, but we knew it wasn't that. And we're like, it smelled like straight up dog piss. Could not figure it out. We went down in the basement to work. There are 2 litter boxes down in the basement. So it's Bilko doors. You get to the bottom, there's no door. So it's just Bilko doors open to the basement. We get down there. These litter boxes are full with both litter and shit. And like when I tell you they're full, they are to the top. There's shit on the floor. Like they're overflowing full. You go into the basement where we have to run pipe. There is a treadmill. There's a weight bench. There was one of those like mirror things that's a...
Oh, yeah.
It's a workout thing, but I forget what it is.
Yeah,
but
you
it
turn
looks
it on
like
and it tells you what to do.
Yeah, it looks like a big mirror.
Yeah.
And then, like, across from that is a stripper pole.
Was it really a stripper pole?
Yes.
Or is it like what we have in our basement holding our house?
No, it was a silver pole.
So is ours.
No, ours is black. And ours is the same shape and then a small thing to mount to the wood.
Yeah.
This was a silver, reflective silver pole that was in the ground and then like really flared out at the top. And then I don't know if it was supposed to be there. What looked like wallpaper that looked like wood. It almost looked like wood flooring, but it looked like wallpaper. It was like, if this was the pole, it was here. And I'm like, what's happening in this basement? But yeah, litter boxes are overflowing. There's shit on the floor. Well, then we're up there. We had to run a piece of conduit under the edge of the deck. So as Jake and as I'm handing Jake straps, I look. And it smells so bad because, I guess because they're getting the pool in the backyard, so there's just a big hole in the ground that's not filled with water yet because the pool's not done yet. The dogs, they just let them out, and they are just pissing and shitting all over the deck. And they're very obviously not cleaning it up. Because the reason I notice it is because there are just piles of shit everywhere. And, like, scraped piles of shit and, like...
Underneath their deck?
No, on top of the deck.
Oh.
So, like, imagine we had a deck...
Yeah.
And we were getting work done in our yard. Oh, well, I can't be bothered to put a leash on him and take him in the yard or take him for a walk. So I'm just going to let him out on the deck and let him shit all over the deck and then just bring him in and not clean that up.
That's disgusting.
It was very disgusting.
I wouldn't do work. I would have been like, nah, you got to clean this up.
And we had to go back today, and I'm like, God, it's
How do you have people at your house to do work and you allow that?
That's what I said. I said, you know, it blows my mind. It blows my mind when we go to jobs where you're getting a pool in your yard. We have to walk through your yard. And there's piles of dog shit in your yard. Like, I cannot tell you how embarrassed I would be to have people come work at my house.
Yeah,
and there's just shit everywhere.
At least, like, where they're working. And if it's, like, one spot, oh, you missed one. Like, everyone would understand that.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Or, like, you don't have a dog and you didn't know it was there. But, like, If you're having work done, like, why not just, like, let your dogs out in the front yard while you're having the work done? And then, like...
I don't know.
Clean it up.
Well, this guy's also... We were there today and finished. Well, my dad, I guess, texted him or called him last night, never got an answer. Went with us this morning to try and get a check. Well, then the guy answered him that he left the check in the door jamb of the front door. My dad didn't get that till after he left. So then he told Jacob, when you're done, go get it. Okay. So Jacob walked around. I was loading stuff in the truck. He came back. I heard him getting off the phone with my dad. And Jake's like, yep. Told Dad that it was in the door jamb of the front door. I opened the door, because it's a screen door, and then, like your regular door.
Yeah. Like what we have.
He's like, I opened the door. Nothing. Looked all around the door, looked on the ground, looked on the ground next to it. Nothing. Dad's like, oh, well, maybe it fell. And then I looked, and then, oh, maybe it fell, like, inside.
Yeah.
And Jake's like, it's got 2 windows next to the door. I looked in the windows, didn't see anything on the floor in the house, so I'm like, I don't know.
Winner.
And then my dad was telling me that he called him. And, something, whatever about, like, he put it in the front door, whatever. And then my dad told him, like, well, my son looked and didn't see anything. And he looked, like, all around and, well, something about, like, I forget what it was about getting it to him, but then, like, well, I'll be home at 5. And my dad's like, I don't know that I really want to wait till fucking 5 o'clock and then go over there.
Yeah, drive all the way back over there. Like, no, I did the work. You have to come pay me now.
Well, it sounds like it's a whole nightmare. Because Jacob was telling me today. I didn't hear my dad telling him this yesterday. So he told me when we bonded it that the township, I guess, is not allowing him to put concrete around his pool. So around his pool is just going to be dirt.
Yeah, so then all that dirt's just going to go right near your pool.
In-ground pool. They're going to do something with it down the road, but the township won't allow them to pour concrete around it. And they have to get a drainage pit dug in. Well, apparently the guy that looks over and finalizes everything at the township or whatever hasn't, like, looked at or finalized the plans yet. But they got permits to do everything. So the pool's in. They don't have a permit for the pit. And the excavator's like, well, I can't do it till there's a permit. And the pool company's like, just do it. Just do it so it's done. Just get it done. And he's like, I can't do it unless there's a permit.
Right.
Like.
Right, that's not how jobs are done.
That sounds like a fucking...
Yeah.
That sounds like a job you should have said no to.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a job. Call us when you have all the ducks in a line.
And that should have been, call somebody else.
Call Eagle.
It is Eagle.
Oh. Maybe they have...
You think Fraunheiser is doing a pool without permits and shit?
Well, they have permits, but the problem is they don't have, like, final approval from... Oh, well, they had permits for the pool.
Yeah, but it sounds like they didn't finalize, like, the plans, the drawings for the pool.
Then how do you have a permit?
And the construction, like, I don't know, that's on the township, but I feel like even still, that would be a thing of Fraunheiser where they got the permits and like, well, this isn't finalized yet, so we're not moving forward.
Yeah.
And Fraunheiser, I feel like, also would have waited till you had all the permits. I could be wrong. I don't know about their business practices. I know they do better business than Eagle, but...
Well, and just, like, just to save your own ass in case of, like... Because what happens if, like, permits are denied and now this guy's got, like, half...
Well, my whole thing, too, is with the finalization of the plans. So, and again, this would be on the township, but, like, you issued the permits to do the work. So what if that guy in finalization, like, denies those plans.
Right.
Like, what's the,
says, like,
what's the scenario now?
You have to make these changes. I can't now.
Pool's already done. They were hanging the liner today and putting water in it. So, like...
Maybe the pool part was finalized, but the other stuff around it wasn't finalized.
I don't know.
That's too messy.
It was just horrendous. And they had fucking pumpkins, like, growing. But just, like... It looked obviously like they just had pumpkins and then threw the shit out in their backyard and then just started growing.
Well, and remember, pumpkins are...
Because they're not... It's not like here's our garden.
Yeah.
It's just like, here's random pumpkins.
Well, even if you do plant... Like, here's my garden for my pumpkin. They grow 21 feet long. So you can't really... You can't control a pumpkin. You just gotta let it go.
But yeah, we were at another job and they had the TV on. I think it might have been on The View, or it was just on the news.
Ew.
I forget what it was. Well, they had the news on, and they like weren't in the room, so it was just on the entire time we were there. And it went like from the news to Good Morning America, back to the news again.
Maybe they thought you wanted to watch
Then it was The View. I think they just had 6 ABC on to watch the weather or some shit in the morning, and then just never turned the TV off. Yeah, it's probably for ambiance, because we were hammering and shit, so it's probably just like to drown out construction noise. But we were walking through, and it was a woman positing the whole thing of like, I think Halloween decorations are going too far. And I thought, like, because Jacob didn't say anything, even though he was standing there watching it for a second, and I was waiting for him to turn around and be like, that's fucking blah 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 blah, because that's how he is. I've talked about that enough on the show. But I'm like, she's not wrong, though. Because her whole thing was like, if you decorate the inside of your house however you want to decorate it, that's fine. But, like, why are we driving through neighborhoods and driving around and there's, like, realistic dead bodies hanging from trees?
There's one up the street from here.
And there's, like, what is clearly supposed to be a body wrapped up in, like, a white sheet.
That's what they have.
Blood all over it on the ground. And it's like...
They have their whole front yard is tombstones. They did it last year, too. And I was like, Where
is it? On 724, or...?
No, it's on Limerick Town Center.
So you go that way.
So when you go up Limerick Town Center and around, it's on the left.
So you go towards Kathy's. You go all the way out there.
No, it's closer to our house. Like, when you turn on Limerick Town Center, it's right around that corner. You go around that big curve, and then when you come out, it's right there on the left. And it's tons of tombstones, and they had Jason, Freddy... The one with the white mask, not Freddy Krueger.
The hockey mask?
Jason.
The hockey, like, goalie mask? It's Jason, yeah.
So they had him, full size, drive there. It literally looked like an actual live person. And then I'm pretty sure there was body parts strewn about their yard. Now they have a graveyard, and in the middle is like a white tarp with clearly a body under it. And, like, I'm a big wuss. I don't like any of it. I don't even want you to have that skeleton with the glowy eyes. It's all too much. Stop it. This is Halloween, not fucking Christmas. Enough with it. But whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
But that one, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't mind.
If you want to go huge for Halloween, that's on you.
I feel like we talked about this at the show last year, too. Maybe or even the year before that. But... Like, I don't mind. Do you want to do a ton of inflatables? Do a ton of inflatables.
Yeah. Like,
you want to put up lights? Put up lights. You want to put up your giant 6-foot-tall skeleton? Put your giant 6-foot-tall skeleton. We drove past. There's one in... I guess that's technically still Pottstown? Maybe that's... Yeah, because I go to Pottsgrove.
There's a new one this year, too.
What's the new one?
It's up the street from here. You put it on... Like, it's meant to go on the awning of your porch. Like, we would put it on our front porch roof, and it looks like the skeleton's coming out. They're huge.
Yeah, it's not a full body, though.
Yeah, it's like here up.
Yeah, I've seen them.
They're huge.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But, so the one that we drove past, they have a weird, it's like dark brown, and the head is like spiky. It almost looks like it's supposed to be Groot.
Yeah.
But it's not.
There's one in Bluebell.
It's so weird. So there's that one. They have the original, and then next to it they have the original, but it's dressed as Wednesday. So it's got like the white socks with the black dress, like
they
school
did
uniform
it,
shoes. It's a wig with the pigtails. But
like the super tall, like the 12-foot.
Yeah,
one.
like the whatever 12-foot tall thing, whatever, however tall it is.
But it doesn't look like they did it, or that it's made that way.
And it looks like it's made that way. But I think you can buy stuff for those skeletons now, because there's
because they make
Santa hats and all kinds of shit.
And turkey legs.
Turkey legs, Santa. Well, they have like a pilgrim hat, turkey legs.
Yeah, because our neighbors leave theirs up year round, which the kids enjoy.
Which also, of course, you're going to. If I had one, I'm not taking that giant fucking thing down. Where am I going to put it?
Yeah, and I don't think it's easy to get up and down.
No, that is a decoration that once it's up, it's up.
But I
throw lights on that bitch and call it a Christmas tree.
I do, which I think is funny. Like, go for it. But I do think that...
Well, I think people leaned into it. I think that became
And also, how much did you spend on that?
Like, those skeletons came out, and I think it became a thing of, like, I don't want to take this down. So people started to dress them up and decorate them for other holidays, and then it became like, we can make this and sell the stuff so you can just keep it up all year round. Because I'm pretty sure... Did they dress him like Uncle Sam?
I don't remember how long...
Down here? Because I feel like he was up at 4th of July, and it might have had, like, a big top hat, like...
I don't remember. No, he does have a top hat for Thanksgiving, too.
What's
so
the
they
pilgrim
could have.
hat?
Yeah.
But I thought it was, like, one of those red, white, and blue, like, Uncle Sam-looking top hats.
I don't remember. I do think from, like, when we were little till now, I don't know if it's gotten more, because I always remember we had Halloween decorations. Yeah. We had that little ball thing that was like... Yeah. I wish they brought those back. But, like, I don't remember, like, the Halloween decorations that we have now.
Well, there's always been decorations. There's always been the stuff that you see...
Maybe people didn't put them outside, is the thing.
That's what I was about to say. There's always indoor decorations. I remember them always being the stuff at Spirit Halloween. There's always been that stuff at like Home Depot that's a little scarier. But I feel like you never saw it anywhere.
Yeah, or like
I saw it in the store, and then I wondered like,
who's buying this?
Are companies buying this for haunted houses? Like,
yeah,
you never see them at people's houses, and now all of a sudden,
now people are putting them out front. Like when you go on Spirit Halloween, they have those. Like I just saw one the other day on someone's front porch. That baby with the spiders on it.
Yeah,
we don't need that outside your house. You know where we're not going trick or treating? A fucking house that has that.
No,
absolutely not. No, it's too scary. That is too scary.
I don't know. Well, there's that whole thing like after The Walking Dead came out, where people. The one guy painted his garage door. Don't open, dead inside. And the cops came knocking on his door and asked to see inside his garage because they thought someone killed themselves.
I think you need to be smart about
that was
things
dumb.
that you do because you're living in an era of true crime, and if someone sees that, your neighbors are calling the cops.
I'm guessing he had to have painted it.
Or he put like a sheet with it over it or something.
Well, no. My question was going to be: was it like hand painted, or was it clearly a like? Because I think you can buy that as a decoration. Because it's the hospital doors.
No, it was probably
from The Walking Dead.
It was probably on the doors
I'm assuming that he hand painted it on it. But that was my question of like, or was it the thing that you can buy? Because if it was like the big sheet that you can buy,
right around
it's
Halloween,
not great, but also kind of dumb that you thought there was a dead body there.
Yeah,
but like
unless a cop just happened to drive.
I think that is what happened. I mean, someone may have called, but I think from what I heard,
so the house that was
they
by
saw
us,
it and then had to like do a wellness check because they thought someone killed themselves.
The first time I saw it, I legit it was one of those instances where like I didn't have my phone out calling 911. Like it wasn't. Yeah. It was not that bad, but There was that split second where I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, it's October.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what that is. It's that, like, it was realistic enough where I legitimately had to take a pause. And I was thinking, like, if I was the house across from them, I would be so pissed.
Oh, definitely.
So every time you look out your front window, there's that fucking guy. And in the middle of the night, like, you're definitely thinking that's a real person. Because it was full size. Like, it was a 6-foot tall statue. Basically.
I saw the scariest decoration today was someone's screen door. Was one of those screen doors where, like, the whole thing... There's a border, but then the whole rest of it is glass. See-through glass.
Yeah. And
then on their front door was... full size of the door, one of the flag, it had to have been a flag, I'm guessing. One of the flags of the picture of Trump after he got shot with his fist up. But the way they wrapped it around the door, like, all you could see through the glass door was him with his fist in the air. And I'm like, terrifying.
Why would you want that on your front door?
Because people are stupid. It was the same thing as the job I went to this afternoon. The house across the street, his flag was Trump won. Save America. And I'm like, he didn't.
Also,
this is the hilarity of Trumpers.
It's time to take that down.
This is the hilarity of Trumpers and people that fly the Confederate flag. Losers. You're both losers. I saw a video today on Facebook that was a black couple in South Carolina. I forget where they were. They were getting work done on something at their house. And the guy pulled in. And on the back of his truck, with his fucking flagpole, was a big Confederate flag. And she went out front and was like, I understand that you drove all the way out here, but, like, we're not going to move forward with using your services. And we will not be paying you for your time. Thank you so much. And her husband comes out and is like, because I think the guy...
What kind of an idiot?
I think the guy goes to say something, or I forget what happens, and her husband comes out and is like, she's not very happy with the flag. And she's like, I'm beyond not happy with the flag. I'm pissed about the flag. But she's like, we're just not going to move forward with your services, and we will not be paying you for your time. Thank you so much.
And they just go back in their house like, bye.
And then, because it was on like the news that the clip was from, and it's them doing like the sit-down interview type thing. And so in the video, I forget what all she says, but she calls it a symbol of hate. First two comments, two older white ladies. It's not a symbol of hate. And the second one was like, same thing, it's not a symbol of hate, and it's something about like learning history or knowing history or whatever. And
yeah,
I'm like, first of all, it's 2024. You're a fucking loser. The South lost. Get over it. Number one. Number two, again, it is 2024. If you are flying a Confederate flag, it in no way, shape, or form means you're proud of being from the South.
Isn't it anti-American?
100%. Yeah. That was the whole point of the Confederate flag.
Good.
That was the hilarity of the guy that used to live here that had the, like, half Confederate, half American.
It's like that.
Well, first of all, it was split in the middle. Half American flag, half the Confederate flag, and then overlaid on top of it was "Don't tread on me" with the snake.
We have three very different.
First of all, that's nowhere on this fits "Don't tread on me." Number one. Number two, in no way, shape, or form does it make sense that you have the American flag split with the Confederate flag, because these were two opposing sides.
Yeah.
Like, does not make any sense. Just absolute idiocy. But I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, yes, that's part of history, 100%. And you need to learn about it, and we need to know about it.
Yeah.
But
also, it's not a symbol of hate. You also need to learn your history, because...
Right.
Yes, it was.
But why do you want
Not fully, but that's part of it.
Why do you want to still fly it?
Because people are dumb.
What do you think it means?
Because people are dumb.
Like, if you have that outside your house, what do you think it means? What do you think you're saying?
That you're proud of the South.
Yeah,
that you're
but...
proud to be from
aren't
the
you
South.
trying to allude that, like, maybe you want to secede?
It's just dumb. And it's the same thing. We talked about it for the past 12 years now. the hilarity and the stupidity of being a business,
Yes.
a business owner, whether it's at your headquarters, on your vehicles, anywhere, that is a work-related thing. Whether you support Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton or who you support. Just the absolute stupidity to put on all your business shit. Trump 2020, Biden, Kamala Harris, whoever. Like the absolute dumbassery to put your political bullshit on your business.
Yeah.
And draw that line in the sand, because that tells me like if we got work done at the house and you roll up in your van and it's got a big fucking Trump thing on it.
Right, like, do you assume I agree with you? Because, if I don't know... I mean, not that if you were a Trump supporter, like, we're not going to not use your services. But it's going to make me really uncomfortable because I don't want you to bring it up.
Well, because also, I'm also already, like, you roll up with that, and immediately my mind goes to, like, I don't care what your political affiliation is, but my mind immediately is going to go, oh, you're a giant asshole because you're in a business vehicle and you thought it was appropriate to put a big fucking political ad on the side of it.
Because I don't know that, like, before now you really ever saw that. Like, people didn't... It was like...
I am being very generous in saying no matter what your political affiliation is, which it is true that anyone could do it.
Yeah.
But it is a very post-Trump America thing to plaster your support and love for Donald Trump everywhere.
It's not anyone's business.
We were driving through Wyomissing and I literally saw trucks for a business. That the entire pickup truck was it had whatever the business name was on the hood or on the door, wherever it had the business name. But then the rest of the truck was all wrapped. Trump 2024, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this isn't a campaign vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, this was an electrician or some shit like that. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's just...
Or the fucking fence company out here that had their big-ass fucking Trump 2020 thing. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, why... It just doesn't feel appropriate.
Because it also, like... And like I said, it doesn't matter who... It doesn't matter who it is. But it comes off as hostile.
Right, like when
it's aggressive, and it's too aggressive.
When you come to my house and it's, all over on your truck, it's sort of like... I don't want to have any sort of political conversation with you.
Yeah. And
now I'm worried that you're going to bring it up. Or you're going to bring it up with people in my neighborhood.
And going off of my experiences...
It will happen.
And again, this is me profiling, but going off of my experiences of people in my life who support Donald Trump, they're going to bring it up. I don't know if it's because they're older. I don't know if it's because they're Trump supporters. They can't not bring up fucking political bullshit. And it's like... No one cares. I don't want to have this conversation with you. Jacob does it all the time. Well, he doesn't anymore. He's done it a lot less.
Yeah, like we can have a political
but it's like
debate
I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is you can't have a political debate.
Right, they don't want to. They're not looking for a conversation.
Because again, I can tell you, going off experience from the people in my life, people who support Donald Trump don't believe in facts. They know what they know, and they believe what they believe, and they will not be swayed.
No, but they don't want to listen. They're not trying to have a conversation.
They don't want to listen to your point. They want to talk at you.
Yeah.
And they want you to rebut with factual information so that they can come back at you with whatever bullshit he spewed out of his mouth.
Ignore you.
To tell you that you're wrong. Like when my brother told people that, or was telling people that the whole thing about like Russia invaded Ukraine because there were these underground mines that were defunct mines that they were trafficking children and women through, and I'm like,
no, it was for
what
oil.
The fuck are you talking about? I don't know.
Well, it was a dispute. It's a land dispute.
Well, it's a land dispute. It's oil. It's a whole...
There was like a strip of land.
It's Putin being Putin, But at
they wanted back.
at no point in time
No.
was
What?
it ever about children being sex trafficked through defunct like mining tunnels in the Ukraine.
No.
Like, what
no.
fucking comic book superhero bullshit are you trying to spew about Vladimir Putin going in there to save sex trafficked kids? Like, what a fucking moron. When I heard him tell someone that, I'm like,
What?
good lord. Like, that's when I knew, like, oh, you're like deep state QAnon fucking weirdo now. Like, oh, it's so bad.
Everything is for sex trafficking. And
What's funny
sometimes that is correct.
What's funny is
and sometimes it's not.
To go off of that, I do have one other thing I want to get back to, but I believe that we need to start regulating who is allowed on social media, which by that I mean no one. The internet is just for research purposes only, and that's it. Because now, there's this whole thing now, again, this is a very post-Trump America issue, where I can just go on Facebook or X or True Social or
No one's going on
Threads or Instagram or TikTok or
no
wherever,
one's going on Threads either.
and spout my weird conspiracy theories. And here's why they're all correct, and then find a following. And now, like, we don't live in a world anymore where conspiracy theories are weird.
Oh no, yours like so cool if you believe in
We
conspiracy
live in a
theories.
world now where conspiracy theories are the norm. And the newest one is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard, which is that Hurricane Helene was not a natural disaster.
Oh no, that's just some dumbass lady on.
No, it's more than just her.
Because I saw that.
It's more
Where
than
she
just her.
thinks like it's
there was a guy.
it's the Democrats.
There was a woman, so there's that woman. There was a woman who had a video of her brother-in-law talking about some, like, European Weather Authority organization, like, created it and
Why?
that's who's controlling it, and it's,
Who I don't understand.
it's the
How
same
is
thing.
the weather being
It's
controlled?
the same thing that happened when COVID happened, and Trump was it's all conspiracy against me. Everyone's out to get me, and it's like.
So he thinks that Hurricane Helene was
Well,
against
he didn't.
Helen?
He hasn't. Helene.
Helene.
He hasn't said anything about it. But there are people on the internet positing like, oh, because that woman.
How does
the
it
woman,
hurt them?
The woman
that there was
the woman I saw getting made fun of by a Democrat was like her video that he lets play is, you know, doesn't anyone think it's? Are we still calling Helene a natural disaster? Doesn't anyone think it's interesting that like weeks before the election, all of a sudden this hurricane comes and hits
Did anyone think that when Hurricane Katrina hit?
all the southern red states in America, and it's like, oh my fucking god. Not, like, this is the most paranoia bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Not everyone is out to get you.
I'm really sorry that the red states are in the hurricane zone. There's nothing we can do about that.
When she says, like, don't give me all that nonsense about geography, and it's like, what?
No,
that
she mispronounces the word geography.
that you're next to the fucking ocean? Like...
It's really unfortunate that election season also happens to fall during hurricane season. I know that makes you all very uncomfortable because for some reason you think that Democrats control the weather and are somehow what was the end goal though? We were gonna kill all of you so you couldn't vote?
I'm very interested to say...
What do you...
So I put that thread up about the Electoral College.
I don't have threads, so I don't know.
Not the thread, in the comments. I commented on that woman's comment.
Oh, I thought you put...
I commented on that woman's comment about how the Electoral College shouldn't exist. I stand firm in that belief. I've gotten tons of people that are, you know, well, it's just 5 cities control our elections, blah, 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 blah. One guy put, he repeated the same thing like 4 other people did, which was like, oh, so what? You just want California to decide all of our elections from now on? I don't think so. And I will openly admit that I clicked on his profile to see, because I clicked on every single one of their profiles to confirm my suspicions, which was exactly that. You voted for Donald Trump because you've got some Trump 2020 thing somewhere in your profile pictures, which of course you do. That's why you're arguing with me about the Electoral College, because the only reason he was ever president once was because of the Electoral College. So of course you think it should exist.
Right.
But this guy posted...
Now you're pissed at them.
This guy commented that. I clicked on his profile. Right there, second and third two things on his profile. From wherever California, lives in wherever California. And I commented the hilarity of you being from and living in California and commenting that on this fucking thread.
So
to which he replied something along the lines of like, what in the world are you trying to say? With like 4 question marks.
You're saying you don't want California's vote to count, but you live in California.
Well, not that he doesn't want their vote to count. He doesn't want California's vote to solely control who the president is.
So why are you still there? Why haven't you moved?
I commented back, and I'm like, what exactly were you confused about? He has not replied since. But I really want him to. Just tell me, just to explain to me, like, why are you confused? Because it is hysterical.
Weird that the state that you live in is the one that
you're bitching about.
Right, like, so go somewhere else. What's the problem?
Some other lady tried to put up...
Also, California has like 55 electoral college votes.
The one lady...
So you're fine.
The one lady writing fucking books to me that I don't give a shit about. She's just writing, like, these fucking super long replies. One of them, she puts a picture of, like, here's the breakdown of, like, red to blue. And, like, the...
States?
No, I don't... counties, I don't know what the fuck it was. It's like... Here, I'll look at the picture up. It's like the majority of the country is red.
Okay.
And then, like, a little bit of the country is blue.
I don't think that's the case.
But then someone else replied, like everybody else, I didn't have to. Because people are... replying for me and being like, okay, now take that and break it down by people and not like towns and fucking... Let me see if I can find the picture she put up, because then I put the picture up of like, here's how many electors each state gets. So your whole argument about like these 5 cities will control everything under just popular vote.
And they're not even in the states that have the most electoral...
No, they are.
Or, yes, they line up...
Chicago and Philadelphia.
They line up exactly with...
So I'm reply commenting like, so literally all the cities you're talking about are in the states that have the most...
Right. So you're
votes.
For the electoral college because you don't want these cities to control the vote. Even though these are the states that have the most electoral college voters.
2020 county presidential election results. Trump 55 plus, Trump 50 to 54%, Trump LT.
That's not true because he didn't win the popular
50%. Well, this is like votes by county. So
Yeah,
she's trying to say that like most of the counties voted for Trump, but they're so small and there's so few people that they don't matter. They get overwhelmed by all the blue. But then I'm like, also, just noticing this, that the entirety of Hawaii voted for Joe Biden.
I'm sure there's one who didn't, but...
Well, according to her map. And like this
Also,
person,
where did her map come from?
Yeah, she didn't say.
Of course she didn't.
Author, Greg Smith, state data as of 15 December 2020.
Nope. No, we're not taking your word for it just by some dude.
This person, are you
it.
are you talking states or individuals? And that is not why, because she's like, we're a republic. We're not a democracy. Dang, too bad land doesn't vote. Now take that map and scale it by population and watch the red shrink.
Right. You're saying that like this county is so small their votes don't matter, but your votes did matter. It's just that the rest of the country didn't agree with you.
Yeah. But one woman replied to her and said, like, something along the lines of, like, isn't it funny, too, how... And she was saying it, like, in a pro-my argument, like, anti-her argument comment of, like, doesn't it seem like the Democrats always win the popular vote? And I replied back, like, should tell people something.
They don't always.
The majority of the time.
Right, but like you...
Because in the past... Because Biden won the popular vote.
The last one was...
Hillary won the popular vote.
W.
Obama won the popular vote.
The last one to win was W 14 years ago.
Yeah.
15 years ago. 2000. Well, 2008.
The popular vote?
2008. So he left the last time.
Because Gore won the popular vote, did he not?
The first time, and then in 2004.
Was John Kerry second?
Yeah.
No, I thought Al Gore was second.
No, because I couldn't vote. I voted again. Well, I won't say.
And I thought.
None of it matters. It was a long time ago. I did vote for W in 2008.
And I thought, like.
No, 2004.
And I thought to myself.
Because then 2008 was.
I thought to myself, too, along that comment of, like.
But he did win.
That's how my brain works of the what if whole scenario of, like. That woman's comment of, like, oh, and it seems like Democrats usually always win the popular vote. And I thought, like, man, how different would we be if Al Gore would have won the election? Like, would 9/11 have happened? Like, would we be where we are right now if W was not president?
Probably.
I mean, it's just the funny scenario. The last thing I have was another Facebook video. I get, every now and then, I tried to weed them out. Every now and then I get a lot of weird, I've gotten a lot of weird, like, here's why you should keep your child in a car seat rear facing until they're 4 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
It's some fucking video of a lady with her kid and his fucking legs are like,
because it's still safer. Their legs
fully up the back of the seat, and his feet are dangling, like, over into the trunk. And she's like, it's fine. They're not uncomfortable. And I'm like, they are. That child is, like, 16 years old. Turn the fuck around.
Well, because the point is, like...
Oh, I get what the point is, but I don't need your preachy fucking PSA.
Well, because it's never from, like, a doctor or
no, it's some stay-at-home mom.
Uh-huh.
Some blogger fucking family nonsense bullshit about, this is really
even though their kids are probably forward-facing. They just turn them around for
this is why you should keep your child rear-facing for as long as possible. And you better believe that if I see you and your young child is forward-facing, I'm going to shame you. And
I'm going to tell you to mind your fucking business.
Mm-hmm.
I don't put my kids on the internet for money, so you can go fuck yourself.
But this was in the same sort of vein. Different video, but same vein. And again, suggested for you. Don't know why.
It's weird that I don't get those.
It was a woman talking, and the video is a woman talking, and it's a guy, like, stitched with her, and he's just doing this. You tell people to, like, listen to the video. And it's a woman. She was what the fuck did she do for a living? She said something that matters to the conversation. Was she an attorney? I forget what she was. She might have been an attorney. But she doesn't do sleepovers. No,
that's the whole big thing right
that's
now.
The new thing. And I saw that, and like tons of people commented. Like,
but I've never
allowed my children to do sleepovers. My daughter's 16 years old, and she's never been to a sleepover once. Well, like, it's this whole thing, and I'm like,
but where?
Why are we not allowed to have sleepovers anymore?
But my question, I've never looked into it because I don't care. But I've never come across a video where it says why.
So her whole thing. So what she was doing. And are they saying
like family members or just like I won't let my kids sleep over my friend's house? No, it was like
friends' houses.
Okay.
So what she was doing was clearly replying to someone asked her about it or something.
Yeah.
That's what she was replying to.
That's the big trend
in her video. And I'm pretty sure she was some sort of attorney.
Was she?
And she does not.
Did she have like very nice, luscious hair and huge boobs? Because there's a woman on TikTok.
No, she did not have huge boobs.
There's a woman on TikTok who talks a lot about.
She was like a professional-looking woman who had like a sweater.
This woman is too.
Well, your description told me she's not professional.
Well, you can't.
Your descriptor told me how unserious that woman is. On TikTok, luscious hair and huge knockers. I think
she's
the trifecta of credible information on TikTok.
I don't know what she does for a living. I know she's a writer.
TikTok.
No. Well, probably. I'm sure she does. But.
Knockers on TikTok is what she does for a living. But she was clearly replying to somebody, and it was this whole. And she didn't say. I don't think she said how many kids she has, if she has sons, if she has daughters. I don't think she said.
I think it's a girl thing, too.
But, which it could be true. But it was this whole thing of, like, if you know your kids, you know their friends, and you might think you know their parents.
Yeah,
but you don't really know
yeah.
their parents, and you don't know their neighbors, and you don't know, like, their extended family, if anybody comes over, if they invite friends over. So it's like a whole thing about, like, the risk of sexual assault and the risk
Isn't that terrifying? You can't let your daughter sleep over at someone's house because you're afraid that their parent or someone in their family is going to sexually assault your child.
And the risk
That's so fucked up.
The risk of sexual assault, the risk of violence, whether or not, like, they have guns in the house, and are they safely secured, and this and
Why
that.
Why can't you just ask them? Like, if Tony wants to sleep over at someone's house, like, do they have guns in their house?
Well,
and where are they kept?
My first thought was, like, number one.
But you can't ask, like,
I'm going
is anyone in your house?
Number one, it is very different for sons than it is for daughters. I completely understand that. Mm-hmm. So do not get it twisted when I talk about how outlandish I think this idea is. I understand there are big differences between what my children will go through and what daughters will go through. But the implication to me is, like, I'm not going to let you sleep over at someone's house unless I feel I really know their parents.
Right.
Like, if I have to trust their parents to know that, like, you're not having a party when my kid is there. You're not inviting over people I don't know. Like...
Right. Right, like, it's okay.
And if you're going to do that, or if I feel you're going to do that, then no, you can't sleep over. But, like...
Or I already know, her grandparents are coming over.
Yeah, like,
dinner.
whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I understand the concern.
So do I.
Because all the other videos I saw, it was never like, what, for,
yes.
And it was never explained. Is it anywhere, or is it friends' houses only? Like, will you not let your kids sleep over anywhere?
She didn't elaborate that, but the assumption I made was that it's like friends. Houses.
Well, and if the concern is because you don't know,
because if you don't know and don't trust your parents or your in-laws or whatever,
that's something different.
That's a different thing,
right?
But I don't know.
And
I saw it, and my immediate thought was like, maybe it's the, like, old guy in me, but I remember growing up and, like, you had friends and your parents knew your friends' parents, and you're, like, they were all very well acquainted because you went to school together and whatnot, and, like, they trusted each other, and, like, sleepovers were a big thing.
All the time. And now, like, for yours, I mean, we have, like, the boy-girl difference here. But I had sleepovers at, like, it's so-and-so's birthday, they're having a slumber party, and I was allowed to go. There was never a scenario where I wasn't permitted. There was one person's house I was not allowed to go to, but it was because my dad knew the dad was problematic.
Yes.
So and I knew that.
Yeah.
Like, they told me, you can't go there because her dad is not a good guy.
Yeah.
All right, we don't go to that house.
Yeah.
But, like, my parents also knew the parents of all of my close friends.
Yeah.
Like, they all went to high school together.
Yeah.
So, like, there was no... And maybe it's different.
Maybe it's a very modern issue
and
of,
it could be different. Like,
parents not
I
really
went to the same
knowing...
high school. So, like, if you move to a new city... Like, if we moved out of state...
Yeah, but I feel like you're not, like... You don't meet someone at school and 5 minutes in you're like, can I sleep over at their house? Like...
No, but, like, I wouldn't know. So, like, if we moved to a new city, these aren't people... I mean, even for us, like, I wouldn't have gone to high school with any of people here.
Yeah, but my point is, like...
But it would just take a while.
I would have to get to know you first as a parent.
Yeah.
Before I okayed my child to sleep at your house.
Yeah.
Is my point.
Yeah.
Like,
it was just different when I was growing up because they all lived in
that's
that town forever.
But, like, not even with, like, moving, even in the same town.
Like, I
don't know, like, is this a more modern issue of, like...
Yes, because sexual assault is such a...
But not in that aspect. In my mind, I just keep going back to, like, you should know your friends, like, your kids' friends' parents. Like if your child is good enough friends with someone to ask to sleep over at their house, I feel like you should know their parents well enough to make that judgment call.
Yeah.
Not just blanket like, nope, you're not sleeping over anybody's house.
How about we all
and like the whole
have
thing
dinner
with,
together?
Like I understand the guns thing.
But couldn't you ask them?
But there again, you can ask, you can... But people also commented like, well, you're not addressing what part of this should be. Because there was also the whole thing of like, there was the guns thing, is there alcohol, and like, where is it kept, and how's it stored, and are there like, is someone on like prescriptions and this and that?
But
and it's like, but the
don't
other...
your kids know not to do that?
But that's what I was going to say. People were also commenting like, part of what you're not addressing is like, you also need to instill in your children, like, I'm going to let you sleep over at Timmy's house. Don't go rifling through his dad's guns and think that guns are toys and play with his dad's guns.
But like, shouldn't they know that long before they go to sleep over at someone's house?
That's what I mean. Like, you should be teaching that to your kids. Like, guns aren't toys. Don't just go rifling through medicine cabinets to eat pills. Like, these are things that they should know. Like,
right.
You shouldn't have to... And I'm sure she meant, like, the concern is the guns in the house because of, like... Yes. The other kid and the parents, but like that's not how she said it.
Yeah.
She said like, "Oh, there's guns in the house," and it's like, well, you should be teaching your kid to know better about that kind of stuff. And the same thing with the alcohol and the drugs.
Even if you don't
like,
have guns in your own house,
yeah.
You should still know because like,
but like,
they're definitely gonna go somewhere when they're present,
and even more so because I think it's a bit more prevalent. It's like the alcohol and the medicine and stuff like that. Where like again, you should be teaching your kids, like, no.
Well, and also, like, you don't have to do this. Like,
yeah.
If someone brings out alcohol, you do not have to drink it. And
well, I'm not discussing, like, older kids.
And wherever you are...
I'm going in the logic of, like...
If someone does something that makes you uncomfortable, you call us and we will come get you. And we're not asking any questions. We're going to have a stern conversation with someone else.
Yeah.
But you're not in trouble. We will come pick you up. And then we'll sort out the rest later. But we also have boys. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, I have no idea if I would feel differently if I had a girl.
Well, my whole thing is, like, because of my dad being who he was, and he was a fire chief, and he was friends with police, and whatever, blah, blah, like, my parents knew my friends' parents, and they knew just people in town. They knew a lot about the area. So my parents, like, if they didn't want me to sleep at someone's house, they would have told me no.
Right. Well, I guess also, like it just never came up.
But they also knew who to trust, and they also trusted me.
Right.
So it's just a weird notion to me of like, you're going to deny your kid a sleepover.
No, what's going to happen when they go to college?
Yeah, like it feels very like paranoid and controlling to me. Because exactly, what are you going to do when they go to college? And they have to live in a dorm room by themselves.
With someone else.
With people that you have never met. Like...
And there's no way for you to meet all those kids and all those parents.
Yeah. There's no way for you to meet all those kids, all those parents. There's no way for you to know, like... the equivalency of, like, how many girls are there and how many boys are there.
Right, because it could be a co-ed dorm.
Could be a co-ed dorm. Like, there's so many there's so many unknowns in that scenario that, like, what are you going to do? Yeah. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just a weird...
I have seen that is a trend. And, like, I mean... Ultimately, your goal is
my other question is
safety. So I get it.
My other question is,
but there's a lot of other.
But then what's the reverse? So it's kind of known. Like we'll just use us as an example. It's known in our friends because it's come up before. You know this has come up. So every one of our friends knows that like we don't allow our children to sleep over at someone else's house. But like if Luke and Tony want to have a sleepover, then, and like Brad and Justine are fine with it, do we allow Luke to sleep here?
No, I think the thing is there's none. And
or
people
are we
don't sleep at
very,
my house
like,
either.
That's what I mean. I didn't watch the whole video because
that was the thing that I sort of got that, like...
I didn't hear her address that, and I thought that, like... But what's the, like... Are you the same with the reverse? Of, like, there are no sleepovers, period? Because to me, that feels wild. Like, I understand a bit more of, like, you're paranoid and won't let your child sleep at someone else's house. But then it'd be weirder to me if, like, the other parents were like, yeah, I don't care, you can sleep at their house. It's not a big deal. And then you're like, oh, no. We don't do sleepovers.
Right. I mean...
Because then you're putting so many... I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. You're putting yourself in an awkward position. Well, you're not. Because you're...
You don't care already.
You're confident about it.
Yeah.
And you don't give a shit. But then
Which, you're putting... fine. It's your kid's safety. I get it.
But no, I get it. But then you're putting your child...
Yeah.
Especially as they get older. Like, when you're getting into your preteens and your teen years... You're putting your kid in the awkward position of a friend saying, like, hey, do you want to sleep over at my house this weekend?
Right,
and then like, they have to
after prom.
They have to either be like, oh, well, let me ask my parents. And you could do, like, let me ask my parents, and then, oh, my parents said no, bummer. Like, and you just play it off that way. But eventually, the friend is going to find out, or your kid has to be the weirdo, kind of.
Right,
because you know a kid...
Then they're going to stop inviting them.
You know a kid is going to think that kid is weird. When they're like, oh, no, I'm not allowed to do sleepovers.
And they're going to stop getting invited.
Well, they're going to stop getting invited to everything.
It's possible.
Because what's going to happen is, like, as shitty as it is, like, you're going to be looked at as the weird kid.
But also,
you're the weird kid.
You're
the weird kid with the paranoid mom who won't let you sleep over people's houses.
Can you go over to someone else's house at all?
I would think not.
Or like you could go over for dinner and then I'll pick you up?
But I don't think there's any dropping off happening at all. I don't think there's any dropping off happening at all.
Spending time at someone else's house is just
because you would think the notion is like, oh, well, if sexual assault's going to happen, it's going to happen when everyone else is asleep. But if you're that deep in the paranoia, it's like, oh no, it'll happen regardless.
Yeah, I don't know. I never
if
really...
If the dad is going to sexually assault you, mom's going to be cooking dinner, and the other kid's going to go to the bathroom, and you're going to get sexually assaulted. In the middle of the afternoon. Broad fucking daylight. Nope, you're not going anywhere. My thought would be that the helicopter parent has to be there. Like, you can go to Cindy's house, but I'm going with you.
Yeah, maybe. And, like, obviously, when they're little, like, that's what you do. When you have a play date, the parent stays because, like...
Yeah, but we're not talking about that.
No.
We're talking about older kids.
Oh, yeah, like middle school, high school.
But in there again, like, then you're running into the, like... Now it's awkward for your kid, because I was that age. I understand how kids work, because I was that age before. Where, like, if you ask your friend, oh, do you want to come over and, like, hang out at my house in the afternoon? And, like, oh, we'll have dinner or whatever, then your mom can just pick you up. And then if your whole thing back to me is like, oh, well, my mom said we can, but she has to come with me. I'd be like, the fuck?
Yeah. Like, I mean, at some point, like, it's that awful thing where it's like you have to let go a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I said,
a big part of it, too,
and like I said,
think, is
it's very different for us. It was very different for me growing up. We grew up...
Well, we grew up essentially 10 years apart, because my childhood was in the 90s and yours was in the 2000s.
But my point is from when we were growing up to now.
Yeah,
like,
but like...
Not to say, like, we've grown up 3 different times, but my point is, like, us having this conversation grew up in a very different time than what our kids are growing up in.
And I feel like it happened, like, so my brother is 10 years older than me. So, like, he was born in the 70s. So, like, him growing up in the 80s, even versus, like, the 80s to the 90s. Because, like, when he was born in the 70s, it was the height of serial killers.
But I think,
and child abduction. And then the 80s, like, it let up. And I think in the 90s it let up.
This goes again, I think, too, with the idea of, like, we need to social media needs to cease to exist.
Well, and the true crime obsession.
But I think not
help.
even. I think you take away that even like you can keep that factor in there. I think the social media aspect. I think another big part of the issue is everyone is so paranoid now. I am by no means saying that child abductions do not happen. But I think people see those stupid stories on Facebook about like, oh, I went to the grocery store and there was this guy following me around, and when I left my child in the cart over here and walked an aisle over, when I came back over, the guy was trying to take my kid, and I shoot him away, but be on the lookout.
And they never say, like, what store they were at.
Well, and then you see people that are like, this didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Like, this was a false story that has been proven false. It's just some shit people are sharing on the internet.
Yeah.
But, like, that happens a lot. So then people get super paranoid about, like, oh, everyone's trying to kidnap your kids all the time. And everyone is trying to, like, assault you and, like... And I'm not saying that those don't happen. It happens.
Yes.
But I think... It's no different than, like, the razor blades and candy at Halloween. Like, for some reason, we are living in an era of these things that happen this much because of social media and internet paranoia. We are living in a belief that it happens this much. Like, it's happening, just to throw numbers out there. This is, again, not at all accurate. But, like, it happens 5 times. And we're in this weird paranoia state that it happens 100 times every single day.
Well, I think the issue is, like, with the girls at sleepovers. I'm pretty sure the statistic is 1 in 2.
Yeah.
Or 1 in 4.
There was a woman that commented, like... of my 6 close girlfriends, her or one of the other ones was the only one that wasn't sexually assaulted,
and the statistic is very small.
And she didn't go to sleepovers.
It's 1 in 4. It's really small. So, but it doesn't say, like, when. It's just sort of in a female's lifetime.
Yeah.
1 in whatever. So, if for some reason the statistics are saying it happens way more it's a family member of someone at a sleepover.
Yeah.
Then that's different. Then you got to use your judgment. And maybe is it, sleepovers when there's a brother involved? Is it the dad that's doing it? Like, I don't know where it's like. If there's statistics to back that up, then that's totally different. But if it's just like the female in general statistics,
like I said,
is it more likely, like, are these people getting sexually assaulted after going to a bar?
My whole thought too is, like, and I get it, it's the people you don't expect, and it's the people closest to you, and it's never strangers.
I think it is usually someone you know.
It is. And I understand that. It's never stranger. Well, it's not never strangers. It's rarely stranger. It's more statistically someone you know and someone you're close with. I fully understand that. But this scenario to me feels like you are either moving around a lot or you're very isolated people or whatever. It does not feel to me like what we talked about with our parents, where it's like you've lived in this area for a while, at least for your child to have been in this area enough to go to the same school or in the same district or whatever, because you changed schools, obviously, from middle school to elementary school, whatever. Like, you've lived there long enough that, like, you know the kid and you know the kid's family. That, like, I just feel like it's something that, like I said, if my parents didn't want me to sleep somewhere, they would tell me no. Like, it feels like something that should be a judgment call, not a blanket.
Yeah,
no.
like, use your judgment, like, per situation. So, like, if it's a friend that they've had since elementary school and you know their whole family and, like, you've all hung... And also, like, you as the parent, like, then hang out with those parents. Maybe you don't... Like, you're not friendly in a terms
you're
of,
not
like...
friends.
Yeah, but, like, oh, our kids are really close. So, like, let's, like, be acquaintances so that if they want to hang out, like, I know what your, like, for Tony's sake, like, when your son is at my house, or could be a girl, I don't care, when your child is at our house to play with our kids, I know how you prefer things. You don't want them to watch something on TV, then we don't watch that.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like,
you don't drink soda. I
think it falls a lot too in that same category of the paranoia and everything else. As we are also living in an era of, not that it didn't exist when I was growing up or when you were growing up. Like, it did, but it was so much fewer and far between than it is now. This whole notion of like, you have a fucking play date and the kid comes with like dietary restrictions, and here's what I eat and what I don't eat and when I have to eat, and I'm on a very strict schedule, and I don't watch this and I don't watch that, and I'm not allowed to have screen time, or I am allowed to have screen time, but it's only this much screen time, and it's like this whole laundry list of rules, and it's like, just fucking drop the kid off and go away.
But like, at the same time, if it's a kid that Tony's close with and you have things that are non-negotiable, then we're gonna abide by those. If you're here at our house, but if you don't, then you're just a third child in this house. We will do the same things for you that we do for our kids. You will be just as safe, and you will be just as cared for as the kids who live here.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to you. If we go somewhere, like, if we're playing outside or whatever, everybody's getting watched just the same. Like, don't have to worry about it. But I don't know.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, in terms of that kind of shit, unless it's allergies, like, if you're here playing with Tony, and Tony loves McDonald's for lunch, but your parents say you can't have McDonald's for lunch, guess what, kid? You're getting McDonald's for lunch.
I don't know that...
And you're going to get a strict talking to from Tony's dad that tells you, don't tell your parents you had McDonald's.
I don't know that there's anyone... Like, I just feel like the kids that Tony's going to be gravitating to, it's that the same mentality we have, where it's like, if you go somewhere, like, you know the things that you can and can't
I'm also of the belief of, like, if that's how you are parenting your child, totally fine. You do you. Like, I don't care. But if that's the kind of parent you are, your kid should not be having play dates.
Yeah, if you've got...
And if they are, you need to be present, and you need to have a fucking packed lunch and a cooler. Like, you need to be here, because you are not going to drop that kid off and hand me a fucking manual, because I'm going to be like, thanks, throw that bitch on the table and be like, all right.
I think that's usually, if it is a kid with, like, many.
Here's the Switch controllers, have at it.
But I think, like, certain kids tend to... Because, like, even the...
God, it is so obvious that Tony's going to be a video game kid. He's already so into him. Can't play him for shit.
No, he's terrible. He likes them, but he does still like to go outside, so at least...
Oh, yeah, he does, but he's definitely going to be... He's definitely going to be a video game kid.
It's because of the family he comes from.
Yeah. When I was big into video games, I still am big into video games. Not, like... I'm in a very specific lane that is Nintendo, but like...
Well, yeah, but like his...
I do want to get the new WWE
his two
game,
cousins who are 20 years different from it.
Yeah.
10 year... Like, what? 12 and 15 years.
Yeah, it's like a 14, 15 year difference.
So, like, they're into them, so he's into them because he wants to be into what they're into.
Yeah, I get it.
So...
When he sees us play, and like, I get it. But, yeah, it's funny.
I mean, I'm not letting him play, like, World of Warcraft and all that bullshit. So I don't want to deal with it.
Why?
It's too much. I mean, when he's big, he can play that. But, like, I'm not going to introduce them to him, like, no. Oh, you should get into this.
No, now he is playing games that, like, he can barely play.
But, like, when he's bigger...
He plays Mario Kart with auto...
He's not doing anything.
The
auto drive?
Auto acceleration and, like...
You can't fall off the
whatever
course.
It's called, that it keeps you on the course.
So literally all he has to do is hold the controller and it'll play.
And you're trying to tell him, like, hold this button in and you will go faster than what you're going.
He doesn't care.
Because he loses it, he gets all mad, like, I don't ever win. And it's like, because I'm telling you how to play and you're just not doing it. When he plays by himself,
though, he doesn't care.
It's like the fucking Goose Game. Oh my god. He just runs around honking for 45 minutes. And he's like, how do I pick this up? And it's like, I told you 40 times. You hit this button when you're right next to it.
He's just happy to be there for a
that fucking Crossy Road Castle.
No, the worst one is the food.
We were outside, but no, Cross River Castle was bad. We were outside. I can't get past level 2, and I walked over, and he's like, it's platforms that move, so you had to like run and jump at the same time. Well, he's just like standing on this platform jumping, and I'm like, you have to hit this button to move, and you have to jump at the same time you're moving to get on it. And he did it. Well, I did it for him to like show him, here's how you do it. And then like 3 started, and he got through like 3, whatever. I can't get past that level 5, and it's like, it's not the same level, but it's the same kind of thing where like you need to run and jump at the same time. And like I'm telling him it, and I can see him just like not even looking at me, and I'm like,
because he wants to play, but he also doesn't want to play.
well, he wants to play till it gets too hard.
Yeah.
And then instead of just quitting, he plays till he loses, and then loses his fucking mind.
Or he'll just like, can you do it?
Yeah, or he just keeps constantly. We're trying to eat fucking dinner. He's done because he eats like, if he eats, he fucking just like vacuums it in, or he has one bite of a chicken nugget and he's like, I'm full.
Yeah, it's secured.
I work for the Food Network and I just tasted it. It's fine.
And then he'll just keep coming back. He'll just
Then
come by.
he just grazes by like, oh, there's chicken nuggets in this plate. I'll have one. But we're trying to finish our meal, and he's like, can you help me? It's like, no, I'm not helping you. I'm trying to eat my dinner. And then you're like, okay. And then you just hear him back here like, ugh,
Yeah.
ugh, I hate this. Ugh.
I'm like, all right, then stop playing. No, I'll keep playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're having a problem and you need help, then we can help you after
Well,
dinner.
the food
Why don't you take a
one-
break for now? No, it's fine. I got it. It's fine. It's fine. I got it. It's fine.
Overcooked is the worst one because he's just like, purposely trying to screw me.
The problem with Overcooked is he saw that game through Smosh Games, and the video is very funny, but Angela does not have her glasses on, and she can't see, and like they're doing it on accident, but like they're trying to put chicken on the plate, and then they accidentally hit the throw button, so they throw the chicken in the fucking water or whatever. And he's laughing. It is very funny. But then he plays the game and is doing that on purpose. And it's like, that's not what we're doing.
And then
here.
all he does is hold the fire extinguisher and walk around and hit things with the fire extinguisher. And I'm like, do you want to cook?
When he goes in and he's like, when he plays by himself, I hear him like, I'm going to put this rice on the stove, and then I'm just going to walk away from it until it burns. And it's like...
Yeah, he just... And then he'll... So we get through all that. He's not helping at all.
Yeah.
He's just running around with a fire extinguisher, throwing shit on the ground. And then we get to the point where it says how many things. They're like, oh, we only served one? What? I'm like, yeah, because we had one chef doing jack shit while the other one had to run all over the place, and you were just in my way.
Yeah, he just stands there, and you're like running into him. It's like, move.
And he's like, no.
Yeah. No, you get out of my way. It's like, you're not doing anything. I'm not in your way.
Where's the fire, sir? Okay, just go stand in the corner with your fire extinguisher. Get out of the way. Then he throws things on the ground, and we had that one where it was like the divided thing, and there was water in the middle. He just threw all the shit in the water.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not competitive. Like,
Get it. He'll get older and.
I don't care if we win or lose. But I'm like, why do you even want me here? Or why do you just play one player?
He gets so mad. You play Wii Sports and he gets so mad about it. I mean, he's getting better. But then like
He just doesn't understand like why he's not winning. And I'm like, yeah,
well,
but
then,
Tony.
Well, like I don't play. I purposely do not play certain games with him because I'm not gonna let him win. That's not good for a child. And then he gets... Well, even when the game starts, my character comes up in bowling before the game even starts. Why do you have a gold shirt? I want a gold shirt. It's like, well, I can't help that you don't have one. Like, you don't play this often enough. I got it within, like, 4 games of playing. You're 4 years old and you've played this, like, twice.
He's getting, like, over 100, though. But, like,
he's getting better. He's getting
realize...
progressively better. Well, you try and tell him, like, you have to get better at it. And then once you get a certain score, you'll get the gold shirt.
Yeah, you just have to play more. Sometimes he does, like, because he'll say something. I'm like, well, you have to keep practicing, and then you'll get, like, better at it. No, you're not good right now. That's the point.
When you try and avoid shit, like in the Wii Sports. Can we play swords? No.
Well, I just let him play by himself because then he has.
Well, he wants to play with somebody, and then like I just fucking, I don't know. I let him win the first one, and then I'll beat him because you do 3. It's best of 3. So I let him win the first one, and then I beat him the second one, and then I let him win the third one, or I beat him the first one and I let him win the second 2. But it's just me like block, block. Oh, I hit you. Oh, block, block. Oh, you hit me. Oh, you hit me. Oh, you hit me. Splash. I'm like, this is so fucking.
I
dumb.
just make him play
when I beat
that
you,
one by himself.
Because when I beat you, you're gonna lose your.
But what's weird
mind.
is
like when we played Memory that night, and I'm like, don't know why you want me to play this. Him and I played by ourselves the one time when you were putting Robin to bed or you were out somewhere, and he got all mad because I beat him, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's because when he plays with me, he just cheats.
Yeah, and I don't let him cheat. He tries to with me, and I don't let him cheat.
I try not to. I'm like, Tony, you pick 2.
Well, I've told him because that night you yelled at me. I was like, why didn't you just let him win?
I was like, no.
Like, what are you doing?
I'm like, why are you trying?
I wasn't trying.
You just flip 2 over. Just at random.
I can't help that I have good memory.
And I just flipped 2 over at random, and then eventually.
But my point is, so you yelled at me for not letting him win. But my point was, and I told him that, like, whatever I had, I don't know how many pairs there are total, but like, I had 20, and he had 14, and you had like 3. But I tried to tell him, like, when we played the other night, you only had 10. Like, he's getting progressively better. And I'm like, you wouldn't be doing this if I just let you win. And
no, I don't
want
to let him win. I mean, when we play Memory, it's usually even. Because what ends up happening is, eventually...
But you're also watching him as you're playing. Even if he only got 5 matches and I had 36 or whatever. Like, when we first started playing Memory... He would flip.
The same 2.
He would flip the same 2 every time. Mm-hmm. And you'd tell him, like, flip over something different.
Why don't you pick a
and then when
one?
we get to his turn, he'd flip the first one. And you're like, Tony, pick something else. You can keep that one flipped over, but for the love of God, pick a different tile.
And he would ask
see him. And you would see him, like he's real, like, trepidatious about it. But now you see him, like, flipping ones over. And it's so funny to me.
Because he knows where it is.
Because that's the thing. You'll be like, oh, birthday cake, French fries. Oh, darn. And then, like, it's his turn. And, like, birthday cake, French fries. He'll flip, like, this one up here. Oh, birthday cake. And immediately, like, bam, birthday cake. Mm-hmm. Like, he wasn't doing that before. So I'm like, yes, this is what happens.
Yeah.
When you allow your children to win, to learn through failure.
Well, I just let him we just keep flipping. I just pick 2, 2, 2, 2. And sometimes you get a match.
Yeah.
Because you just get a match. But after a while, I'm like, okay, well, now I know where they are. So we're going to have to move this game along if you're not going to get the matches.
That's part of the reason I try, is because I'm like, I'm not sitting here for the next 2 days.
Then I will get a match. But when I know he knows where they are,
yeah, there are times where I don't.
I won't go for it.
There have been times when I don't, because you'll hear him, like...
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Then I let him get that one, so that he knows...
When his problem is, it's your turn. Your turn or my turn or whatever. It's someone else's turn, and you flip it over. Ooh, and he, like, jumps forward, and it's like, it's not your turn.
Yeah,
Sit.
yeah. I don't let him play out of turn. Sometimes he does it by accident.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't let him just, like... It's not always your turn.
And there are times where I've let him get it. There are times where I've legit forgot. When you're getting down to fewer things left, and it's like, oh, fuck, I knew it was one of these 4.
Right.
Which one of these 4 was it? Because we flipped this goldfish over, and the other goldfish got flipped over 45 minutes ago. But it was one of these 4.
And they start to get, like, moved
Yeah, they
around.
get moved around and, like, shuffled a little bit.
Midway through that
That's what I
game
mean. When you get lower and, like, there's big chunks of tiles that are now gone...
It's not a square anymore. Now it's just sort of like a blob.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle that's not finished. You've got big sections that are missing. All right, well, thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening to this, comment, I think, if you can. I don't know if you can do that on all of them. I know you can on Spotify. But I don't know.
You can on Amazon.
I have no idea. Comment if you can. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell your friends and your family to do that. Tell your friends and your family to subscribe on YouTube. You don't have to watch the stuff, but I mean that would help as well. But follow us on social media. I've been putting stuff out on TikTok.
Morgan just commented. She's like, "Man, Brian's been really active."
Not regularly, but a bit more frequently than we've been. I do this like. This has been a bit more consistent. It's like I put that video up of that asshole that parked at Wawa like an asshole. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to start like making more of an effort. And then weeks went by before I posted something else.
You kind of like you gotta strike when you have the inspiration.
You get busier at work and like...
Or you just like, there's nothing good.
Because I recorded that on my lunch break. So then it's like, okay. And like there was that and then I did... But I've also gone through the spurt of, like, I'm going to post more on Instagram. And, like, that, again, comes and goes. But, yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying my hardest.
No one cares.
No
one cares about your effort.
Whatever this is. When I've learned that, like, to edit the shorts and stuff for YouTube is so much easier on the phone than it is on my computer. So we're getting there. We're learning. We're learning.
We're learning through doing.
Yeah, we're learning through failure.
Through not letting you win.
It's so funny because, like, I by no means think that I'm an old person. I think in terms of some of the technology, 100% I'm an old person. But, like, I post shit on TikTok and I do the shorts or what. I'm, like, editing the podcast video stuff. And I'm just like... Why don't I know how to do this? Like, this feels like this should not be as complicated as what I feel like
I don't think it is. It's just, like, all the, like, commands are in a different spot.
Or you're swiping through TikTok, and there's some old guy that, like, is just posting shit. And it's like, how do you know how to do this?
You just... I think you just do it once, and then it makes sense. It's one of those, like... You just have to learn where all the buttons are, and then you're good to go.
My lane on TikTok is now those stupid games, like the filter games. I did the chicken one, and I did the chicken one got a lot more traction than the...
I'm not doing that.
The do-re-mi one. You should.
I don't want to.
They're fun.
I think I posted like one TikTok in my whole life.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I did.
I have one...
It's Tony on, like, at his little table going...
Oh, yes.
And like, take this job and stuff it.
I've done him farting on your legs.
Oh my god.
And making the farts on your legs. I did the stirring mac and cheese.
Ew, that's disgusting.
And I just put if you know, you know. And
that's such a cheap shot.
And then I put, like, I miss Vine. I forget what it was. I alluded to the Vine.
Okay.
I did not, like, oh, this is my original concept. I alluded to the Vine of the mother stirring noodles or whatever she's stirring, and her son's just like, that's what good pussy sounds like.
It's like a Middle Eastern family, too, which makes it... Because the mom is, like, disgusted.
I think she, like, turns around and hits him with a spoon. It's
like,
so funny.
she's disgusted.
It's so funny. I miss Vine.
Well, if you watch TikTok long enough, eventually you see them.
I mean, a lot of them are. That's what TikTok is. It's just modern-day Vine. A lot of them.
It's
you see legit ones, but there's also new ones that are TikToks.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. They were roommates. I mean,
Fuck your chicken strips.
I was devastated the other day when I tried to send you a GIF of the kid that's like, I can't believe you've done this. And there wasn't one. I'm like, how isn't this a GIF? Unbelievable.
Oh, made me drop my croissant.
Oh, stop. Yeah, that's the kid who gets punched in the face. I can't believe you've done this.
Free Shavakadu.
Free Shavakadu. I don't know why in my head every now and then. I think it's someone talking about the police. I forget what they're talking about. And in my mind, I'm just like, is that a weed? I'm calling 911. It's the microwave. That's not how it works. 911 emergency.
And it's like the blue, 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 blue.
Yeah.
Like...
The X-Files.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and I can't tell you how many times we fucking drive around here. Deer, geese. I'm trying to think of what other animals you see on the side of the road. Buzzards. Dead deer. Look at all those chickens. Like, it doesn't matter what fucking animal it is anymore. Or it's like, look at all those chickens.
Look at all those chickens.
And now it's Halloween time, so what are we doing? We're just driving around. Look at all these freaking bats. Like, we're just...
Freaking bats.
It's just like...
I like this. I wish I could get it. I love her so much. She's like a full-grown person now.
And every time I see like Robin wake up from a nap, I think of a little girl is just like, what? And her hair's all fucked up. That's Robin when he gets up. His hair's just a big mess. And he's, huh? What?
He just runs down there and he'll go, Mommy! I'm like, hi, Robin. Tony came down here today.
He comes in our bedroom. And, like, so our bed is there. The corner, the side you sleep on, that corner
you walk in
is
the
at the
door.
door. So
Yeah.
I'm on the far side from the door. And my alarm goes off at 6:15 or whatever. I'll get up. I usually get up at like 5 o'clock and have to go to the bathroom or whatever. Or if I fall asleep down here, I go upstairs because you come downstairs because I fell asleep watching TV. And then at some point, I'm just like, whatever. I'll just turn my alarm off when it goes off, but I'm just going to sit here and like scroll on Facebook or whatever for a couple minutes. And he'll walk in, and always like, it's surprising to him every time. And it doesn't matter if it's the morning, if it's the afternoon, no matter what time of day it is. He walks to that door, and he sees me sitting in bed. And he looks at me, and he says like, Daddy.
Yeah.
And then if you're upstairs, he turns around and walks down the hallway, and I hear him like, Daddy in there. And
yeah.
it's like,
in there. There.
In there. Daddy in there. Like, yeah. Where did you think I was?
In the bathroom.
The door's open.
He thinks that you live in the bathroom. Where'd Daddy go? I think he's in the potty. Me too. And then he goes up there, and then Daddy in there. Yeah, I just told you he's in there.
Tony, it's so funny. This is the last thing we'll talk about since I was ending.
Oh, I was going to tell you that he came down this morning and he pulled a full-blown Shining. He walks down here, comes into the living room and goes, here's Tony! And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
what the fuck?
We did that from Bluey.
Yeah, but it was like...
Because it's Dad.
Yeah,
That's
but it was
what
like really unexpected. After he made me shit my pants
Yeah.
upstairs. Could you hear me yell?
No.
I thought it was the cat. I'm in our room, all the lights are off, because I am going towards the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I can hear shuffling in the hallway. I think it's the cat. And I turn, and the cat is laying on the bed. So I quick turn all the way around. It is Tony on all fours, but not with his knees down. So his legs are straight, and his arms are on the ground, walking towards our room. And I went, and he was like, sorry. I'm like, it's okay. Like, he startled me.
That's his new thing. He wants to sneak. The other morning,
But, like, why?
The other morning,
like that?
The other morning, because he's a weird. That's what he thinks sneaking is. You gotta get low.
But his whole butt was up in the air. Like, he was not really
He doesn't know
low.
what getting low means.
I don't.
He's not gonna army crawl.
It was horrifying. He will crawl on the ground.
Yeah, crawl on his hands and knees, but not like on his stomach.
Yeah,
Army
that's how we
crawling.
used to sleep next to our bed. He would crawl all the way down the hallway on his belly.
But
if I stay low, they can't.
But
see
that
me.
morning, I went back and I like laid on the floor in their room. I was coming out of the bathroom and I heard them in the hallway. Like, oh, I heard him like with Robin. Like, let's sneak downstairs. And it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I knew you were down here like making lunches and stuff like that, and you were working out, doing yoga or whatever. So I opened the door and I'm like, let's go. What? I'm like, let's go. Let's go back to bed. Let's go lay down. What?
Yeah, I could hear him in there not going back to bed.
No, they didn't. Well, of course, I lay on the floor. Ugh, you always lay right in front of the door. And I'm like, for a good reason.
Yeah, you remember when you used to sleep in there to prevent Tony from leaving? And you sleep so heavy, I could watch on the monitor Tony literally step on you to get over you, and then he would just leave. And I'm like, well, that worked. I mean, you were really...
Well, the issue was I would sleep against his bed.
Because the issue was him going to bed.
All he had to do was climb over me.
He only
What
did
I
it in the
should
morning.
have done was slept blocking the door.
But I think you slept there because the initial
Well, I slept
issue...
there with the notion of like, well, if you step on me, I will feel it, and I will wake up and tell you to go back.
That's false.
I don't think he ever stepped on me. I think he stepped over me a lot.
But it was always in the morning. And
Yeah,
by that
yeah.
point, the evening was why you were sleeping in there.
Yeah.
Was because he wouldn't go to bed.
Yes.
So, like, once it was morning time, I'm like, he can be up.
But I will leave you with this, that, talking of Robin's speech, Tony never really did that.
No.
Tony went from being, like...
Mute.
Mute, and, like, I babbled for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden I'm talking like a 65-year-old man.
Full sentences. We came out swinging.
So I think it will be much more devastating to us, me especially, I think, since I am the more emotional of the two of us.
When Robin
starts saying, like, actual words.
Well, he does now. He will.
But barely.
No, he has full sentences. Where'd Tony go?
Yeah, but it's not... Yeah, where'd Tony go? That's not a sentence.
Me too.
Me too. Me see.
And he's...
Wave me.
Yeah. But,
she's.
There's still lots of words that he pronounces incorrectly.
Yeah. But even if he...
My favorite is, in there. He's in there. Out there.
Out there. Stairs.
Now he says upstairs and downstairs.
Yes.
It used to be stairs for both upstairs and downstairs.
Downstairs. Which, like, I get it. And some of the words are, like, shoes. Shoes is correct. But it's like, she's.
Yeah.
She's.
But remember how Tony used to always be like, poosh.
Poosh. Yeah, he used to say poosh.
Poosh. Like when he would, don't get away.
Yeah.
Poosh.
Poosh away. Poosh away.
Robin's got a lot. He babbled too, though, for a long time. A long time.
I'm going to be devastated when...
But he has to keep up with Tony. That's why he talks the way he does.
I don't lay in bed in the morning and hear, Daddy in there. In there?
Where'd Daddy go?
Yeah, where'd Daddy go? Daddy.
Huh?
Daddy?
Huh? Just over and over and over again. Huh?
Oh my God, the huh.
Huh?
Well, thank you for joining us in Kids Corner.
Kids say the darndest things.
Yeah. We did the spiel already about social media and whatever else, so I won't do it again. We will talk to you all...
Maybe not next... Well, yeah, probably next week.
Yeah, we can probably make it happen. Because we'll be in the mountains, but the episodes don't go out till Wednesday, so we could always record Sunday night when we get back, or even Monday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably see and speak to you guys next week. Thank you for joining us. We love you, and as always, thank you for being a friend.